Welcome into the Meltdown. Is Borderlands the worst movie experience of the year, or is the hate it's receiving overhyped? The video game adaptation is set to be reviewed by the Lunsfords here in mere moments. This fun Friday will also lead us to another round of hot or cold with our expert panel as we run down all the biggest entertainment headlines of the week. And with the face of Hulkamania being set to be played by Ben Affleck, potentially, we will enter the squared circle to find out which potentially perfectly cast wrestlers will appear on today's Luntz's list. It's all happening right here on the Meltdown as we are presented by MyBookie and broadcasting live from the Culver studio.
Two big balls in a tiny studio, teaching you and me about everything they know to make sound. A meltdown, it's the meltdown. Time for the meltdown. Coming for the meltdown. Let's start the show.
And we are very grateful for all of you loyal Meltdonians who have been with us here all week long. We appreciate those subscriber numbers going up, and we're trying to get to 2K before the summer season comes to an end, and we would love to have you join us here on this journey. I am Meltdown host Tim Melton. That is my co-host, Mr. John Lunsford.
Sorry, I'm still looking for a quality Borderlands movie somewhere.
Looking for it. One movie that you do love and cherish. It's our retro trailer reaction. It's up on the channel, ready to be viewed, with Tom Cruise starring in Days of Thunder.
An incredible movie. It may be Top Gun with cars, but that is A-okay because it is NASCAR. It is the best NASCAR movie ever created. Not that there have been a ton of them. But yeah, I very much like Days of Thunder. Laura very much did not. She's like, you can watch this one without me. So,
I said you can watch it while I'm falling asleep. That's all I said.
That's pretty much
the same.
that lines up. In the
That's
same.
also how I watched The Acolyte. So that in our household, they're on the same level.
You didn't miss anything, Laurel.
But no, I really like it, and yeah, it's a good movie. Go check it out. I'm honestly kind of surprised for the most part everybody liked it except some things with Tim.
So you said best NASCAR movie. Would you put this above Talladega Nights, or are you not considering that a true NASCAR movie?
It's a NASCAR movie, but I put it above Talladega Nights. Now, I very much like Talladega Nights, but...
how many NASCAR movies are there? Could we make up a Luntz's list of 5 NASCAR movies? I don't think we could.
What's that one that Ron Howard did?
That's Rush. That's Formula One. Now,
Okay.
Rush is the best Ron Howard movie.
Okay.
Now, once again, I obviously have a racing
That's the
bias.
best Ron Howard movie?
That is the
There's
best
no
Ron
way.
Howard movie.
I can name 2 NASCAR movies.
Have y'all seen Rush?
No.
Rush is incredible.
That's is that the one about Niki Lauda?
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth is in this?
Yeah.
So you're not going to see him play Hulk Hogan, but you can see him play a Formula One driver instead.
Can you name a third NASCAR movie? That's all I'm asking.
It's bobsled, but let's throw Cool Runnings in the
Wait.
mix since
Logan-
it's closer than anything else we'll name.
Is Final Destination 4? Is that NASCAR at the beginning?
I don't
I
remember.
do think it is.
Is it?
So it makes the Luntz's list.
I do
Final
think it is.
Destination.
This was a terrible movie, but Logan Lucky is a NASCAR movie.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that one?
Yeah, I remember that one. It was a terrible movie. Great cast.
Past that, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Okay. So,
All right.
John will be researching that. We've got producer Tyler here with us. Tyler, one thing that's become very popular with the audience here is you being tasked with seeking out popcorn buckets. It has been a point of conversation, and anytime they announce a new popcorn bucket, we had the Beetlejuice conversation, I think it was yesterday in the chat during Meltdown Arcade. Do you like the fact that the audience cares so deeply about whether or not you're able to secure a popcorn bucket? It does add an extra level of attachment, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's fun, and a lot of these popcorn buckets are just cool little collectibles we can put around here. So I don't mind being tasked with it at all.
Now, I do feel, John, and maybe you don't feel the same way, but only those like top tier popcorn bucket designs need to be things that we care about. Are you agree with that?
I mean, yes. There have been some that I've thought, oh, this is cool for practical purposes of actually eating popcorn out of them. Some that I have thought, oh, these are cool looking, but I don't necessarily want to eat popcorn out of them. But like I could see it as I'm not saying in the way you're thinking, but it's like it would be a cool collector's item. Yeah. Like because it is a character or something. Like I think for Fast 10, they did Dom's Charger, but it's just like a cool looking car that like if you're a fan of the movies, I didn't get one, but like it's the kind of thing I would get and like put up there to actually have.
Did you get the Spider-Verse ones?
I did not get the Spider-Verse ones. Then there's the Dune Popcorn Bucket line. And I think we just need to call them the Dune Popcorn style because that was kind of the first one,
Yeah.
and now everybody is strictly trying to match that.
We've got the Doom popcorn bucket, which we've gotten our use out of for sure. We keep passing that thing around. We also have the Wolverine popcorn bucket that has looked more aesthetically pleasing with our Marvel shelf here. We may have to get Tony Stark's heart there also on the Marvel shelf to keep the theme going, but it has been a big week for Marvel. It's been a big couple of weeks for Marvel. We're going to discuss the MCU here in just a little bit, but I want to bring in Laurel Lunsford. Laurel, you got a chance to go to the movies last night, one of your favorite places to go.
Oh, yes.
However, you seem scarred by what you saw last night on the screen. Did you actually watch it, or did you have to get up and leave, or did you fall asleep?
And I hate doing this because I know how much goes into making a movie, and I don't like to say something as bad. I even like The Strangers Chapter 1. I respect it for what they tried to do because I know it takes time.
You used the word respect. You respected it.
Respect around here means you hated it.
I know how long it takes. I've
family
been in that. I've done it, so I know how long it
So
takes.
you feel bad for the people making an awful
I
movie.
do feel bad. And this movie, I will say there have been 3 movies where I was like, this is a bad movie. One was Cats. It was awful. The second one, what was that movie that had Denzel Washington and Jared Leto in it?
The little things.
The Little Things.
It was a straight to streaming though.
It was gonna be, but it was gonna be in theaters.
It was.
I mean,
That was like during
that was
COVID.
a COVID thing, yeah.
And then this movie, I would.
Rami Malek was in that movie as well.
He was. And John was like, "Would you watch this or Madam Web?" I was like, "I would watch Madam Web 100 times over this." Like, I fell asleep and it was still going. I felt like the jokes. I felt like there should be a laugh track with it. Like I feel like they were wanting the audience to like laugh at the jokes and they weren't funny. I am shocked Kate Blanchett was in this movie. She's Tar. Like,
It had
she
a
has
good
become
cast
Tar.
in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be good. I mean, between
She
her,
filmed this 2 years before Tar.
That's the thing. This movie was filmed like 4 years
Really?
ago.
Yeah.
Really?
And
And
was
it's-
I
like,
know it's been through
been-
production hell. I know
Yeah.
the writers come back and forth on it, wanted his name removed from it altogether
Yeah.
because Eli Roth, who's very hit or miss with me, very hit or miss.
I don't like a single thing that he's done.
Green Inferno?
No.
I've seen
I
anything
just don't like his style.
that I like
He is
from
like,
him either.
Thanksgiving?
okay, that one. Did he direct that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Did he
that's
do
his
Hostel?
one.
Yeah,
I don't like
Hostel's
Hostel.
his.
That's
that was a big one.
Not great.
I don't like Hostel.
Like,
Great.
I mean, obviously, I'm not going to go watch Eli Roth movies, but when I have seen him like out in the wild talking or whatever, the occasional acting role, I feel like I like Eli Roth overall.
He's the Zack Snyder of horror movies.
Yes, I was about to say
yeah,
that.
that's a good comparison.
He even did a storyline for Horror Nights and the one in Hollywood, like the Tram, and even it was like not super well received.
Here's how I've always felt. If I'm doing a horror movie podcast, I would love to talk with Eli Roth. Would love to sit down and talk with him for 5 hours about horror movies. If I'm in a comic book shop and Zack Snyder's there, I would love to geek out over these characters and the comics and what looks good to him. And, I think these guys are fans before filmmakers. I really do feel that way. And they've been able to attract a lot of fans of their own because of how much they lead fan culture. Okay. But they are so either completely on point or completely miss the mark with their films. And it sounds like, from what you guys are telling me, Borderlands is a complete miss and a complete failure. Is there anything redeeming about it? Does it look good? Does it have some chemistry with the cast? Is it funny? Anything?
Reminded me of Mila Djokovic from like, I felt like that's like what I kept thinking I was looking at because her hair's so red, like in what's it called?
Fifth Element.
That and
Resident Evil.
Yeah, Resident Evil. I mean, she looks really good.
And you're talking about Kate Blanchett
Kate
from
Blanchett,
Borderlands.
yeah. I think that little girl. I mean, now she's not so little. I think she's like a teenager. But the girl who was in Barbie and Thanos' like younger daughter.
Ariana Greenblatt.
I think she's super talented. And look at how much she was on. She played young Shaka, didn't she too? Ahsoka, yeah. She's really, really talented. I think she's good. I think Kevin Hart and The Rock, I don't know what happened. They just thought they were on their way out. I don't know what. I know that The Rock wasn't in this movie, but like, they're kind of attached when you think about them. I just kind of think they're on their way out. I don't know why, but they kind of flopped.
Okay. So with the movie itself, right, it has some pieces that we'll all defend in some regard. I mean, Jack Black voices a character in this.
Jack Black is like for children. It feels like this movie feels like it should be for children,
Well, here's
but
the
the stuff
thing.
you're seeing is not for children.
Borderlands is a hard rated M game. Like, it is a very adult game. in its humor, in its violence. And this was tried to be made PG-13. And so there's literally entire scenes of the psychos, which are the ones with the mask on, where they have like chainsaws, and the main guy, Krieg, has like an axe with at the end of a chainsaw. It's like, out of any crazy horror movie's dream kind of weapon. And every time it goes and hacks somebody up, it's just like when you turn the blood off in Mortal Kombat kind of thing. Like you hack them and they just go, oh, and fall over with no blood. It's so cheesy looking. This is like a fan made a trailer, a Tropic Thunder trailer version of like Guardians of the Galaxy. I think it's not even a Tropic Thunder trailer because at least those looked halfway decent.
The technology at the end. Did you think the technology looked good at the end?
I didn't think the technology looked good ever.
Like it looked,
in the movie.
Like it looked so bad.
CGI was very bad in it.
So there's nothing redeemable about this movie?
I like Kate Blanchett. I'm still okay with Kevin Hart overall. I like Jamie Lee Curtis overall. So you can still see that they're just like okay actors.
But you like them for future projects, not necessarily anything that happens.
So I don't want to trash them necessarily.
No, I get it that they're pieces, right? We all are fans of the pieces, but why do the pieces not work well together in this property on this?
This is one that's formula hard to do. I feel like it would always be hard to do because it would cost a ton of, a movie like Halo is never going to get made. The reason they shifted away from it the first time is because it's so stinking expensive to really do a full CGI alien space epic movie like that. This is not quite to that level, but it's still close to do it right. There's so many bright colors, so much craziness in it that you have to have tons of CGI for it. That the CGI in this was like they farmed it out to some kid 4 years after it was shot. It shot in April of 2021. Is when they shot this, and then they brought Tim Miller, who did Deadpool, in 2023 to come do 2 weeks of reshoots without Eli Roth, I believe. Yeah. So Eli Roth is still listed as the director. I don't know that he did any promotion for this at all, but they couldn't even get a director to do the whole thing. They had to come back 2 years later and do reshoots, and then a year later after that release it. It's just everything about it is just absolutely wrong.
Well, its score's gone up. It's sitting at a 5% critic score now.
That's actually lower than when I saw it last. It had gotten up to 7%.
I had it at 6 before the show, and it is down to 5.
Yesterday it was at 3.
It was at 3 when I went to it.
At one point it was 0.
Okay, so John, maybe this is wrong. Maybe I misread this, but you gave it a 0.5 star on Letterboxd?
I did. Only because I don't think you can actually give it a 0 and it still register.
Right.
You cannot.
So you have to give it at least a 0.5.
I would have given 3 movies a 0 this year. Madam Web, Unfrosted, and this, which all 3 are currently tied for the worst movie of the year.
Hey,
I can't pick any one over the other one right now.
You know what those 3 movies have in common? None of them are horror movies. So we're making progress there. And John becoming a horror fan.
I mean, how many horror movies I've seen this year compared to y'all?
And maybe y'all can answer this. It kind of reminds me. I feel like
I'm like Sir Simon Strong.
My highest rated horror movie is Maxine at 16th. So,
but I don't know if video games translate well mainstream because it reminds me.
They have been lately.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, like with The Last of Us, I remember and I'm gonna bring up Horror Nights again, but this was like a couple of years ago. Everyone they'll ask you at the end of the event, like, what is something that you really want to see? And Universal is actually really good about bringing what people want to see. And one of the most popular answers was Silent Hill. Everyone wanted that as a house. They brought it as a house. And it was the only house that never had like a wait for it. Like people just did, because people are like, what is this? Like I know there was a movie that I think came out.
Kindergarten Cop.
No.
Has the same set as Silent Hill. That's just that's a deep cut.
I thought you were saying they had a haunted house for Kindergarten Cop. It's like, wait, what?
This is the fun little thing. We had this
kids running around the whole time.
We had this in our retro trailer reaction. It blew Tyler's mind, but then he saw. I sent you the comparison footage.
You did.
But they made the Silent Hill video game setting mimic the schoolhouse from Kindergarten Cop, and the parallels are so jarring.
No, he sent me a video, and I watched it just mouth agape the entire time.
I'm not just making stuff up. Anyway,
he came with receipts.
Here's the thing with video game movies, or video game properties in general. Even if it doesn't attract a mainstream audience, if you get the players of that game to at least buy in.
People beside us for having fun, though. I will say that there were some people in that movie that enjoyed it. That the people next to us were having a laugh riot.
So there were 2 things of the people next to us. There's one guy sitting next to Laurel, and then a couple sitting on the end. The couple on the end, it's like they're the nerds that probably will eat this up regardless. The guy next to, I did tell you this. The guy next to Laurel, so it was me, Laurel, an empty seat where Laurel like set her purse and her popcorn bag when she was done everything, and then this guy. He started doing the stretch like you do when you're trying to put your arm around a girl at the movie, you know, like you see like in movies and stuff. He started doing that when Laurel got up to go to the bathroom. And I thought he was about to put his arm and reach into Laurel's purse or reach into the popcorn or something. And I turned and looked at him, and he instantly went, like a girl caught him, you know, trying to put his arm around somebody, and went back to like this and never did anything else.
He was also looking at a bunch
bathroom.
of cat videos beforehand,
So
too.
there were some weird people in this movie. Anyway.
Is there any chance he was trying to stick his fingers in your mouth?
What?
Let me say, there's only 2 people I trust to stick their fingers in my mouth.
I did
and
leave
that
my
is
phone out over there, though,
He's trying
too.
to set up a read.
Oh.
It's just, it's a thing.
Now I'm worried about this, then. Why didn't you tell me? Now I
Because he
know.
didn't do anything, because I sat there and watched him do it, and he caught himself.
The one time I leave my everything out. Okay.
Tim, you said that there's fingers going in mouths. What's going on?
exactly. I'm getting those fingers into my mouth here very soon with Dr. Jeff and Dr. Brian over at Alabama Dental Associates. They have provided me the best dental work of my life, and they can do the same for you. Go visit them. They're on Grants Mill Road at Alabama Dental. They are very flexible with their office hours and will make time for you. They even have Friday office hours. They have Saturday office hours. Work should never get in the way of making sure that you are up to date with all of your dental cleanings. They can work with you to make sure that that friendliest staff in town is right there through a text messaging service to remind you of all of your upcoming appointments. It's very helpful. They're accepting new patients right now and can help you feel at ease about all of your dental procedures. They accept so many different forms of insurance as well. You can visit them at alabamadental.com or give them a call at 205-956-8977 as they look forward to seeing you.
Okay, anyway, before we got off on whatever tangent we got off on, what I was saying is you have to make the actual gamers, the actual people who play that game, happy. I get so like, I'd say a movie like Warcraft, this is the one I typically use as an example. It's got like a 40% or something on Rotten Tomatoes. The critics don't care. They saw it and said, this is stupid, I don't want to watch it. But I feel like avid players of the game saw it and said, there's something here. Now I understand it takes $200 million to make, so you're probably not going to be able to make a lot of these movies. But I watch that and say, as an avid player of the game, I appreciate the story, I appreciate the CGI in it, I appreciate what they did with it, but I get it's not for everybody. This is a movie that you go in and watch as an actual gamer and say, what the hell did I just watch on the screen? This has nothing to do with anything. It doesn't follow the actual story of Borderlands. It just has the characters that they kind of play the story out in a slightly different way. It's just everything about it is wrong. And like the characters in the game, like the main character Lilith that Cate Blanchett plays is like in her early 20s. Cate Blanchett is far from her early 20s. Not that she looks bad at all, but it's just not the right thing. Kevin Hart's role, Roland, in the game is like a very stoic, serious, I'm going to keep, because there's a lot of humor in the game, like Claptrap, what Jack Black did. That was the one character that actually was captured right. There's a lot of humor in the game, and he tries to bring it back to, hey, we're on a mission. We need to be serious about this. I'm the military man that's like super serious. And he's like jacked. He's like The Rock, as opposed to Kevin Hart, who's the opposite of The Rock. And of course, he's trying to be funny the whole time too, because he's Kevin Hart. Just nothing about any of the characters worked. Nothing about the scenery worked.
The humor?
Nothing about the humor worked. Occasionally, Jack Black would get a giggle every now and then, but he's good at what he does, and he still was good at this. That's the one thing to give it a half a star is Jack Black was still only batting about 70%, but it was enough to at least give it a half star.
Well,
Yeah, that's pretty poor for Jack Black.
I know.
At least they spent a fortune on it. Let's play some hot or cold. Do we have our panels here? We have our panel of participants for sure. It is time for hot or cold. Very simple how this works. I'm going to give you a trending entertainment topic. You tell me whether you're hot or cold on it, but make sure you listen to the question before you put up your panel, even though nobody ever does that. They all put up their panel first. That's perfectly fine. You can change it. Just make sure you listen to the question. Here we go. We're starting with this. Blake Lively's It Ends With Us is projected to earn close to $40 million in its opening weekend, while Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool and Wolverine looks to add a potential $47 to $50 million in its third weekend. Are you hot or cold on Reynolds and Lively officially being Hollywood's 2024 power couple? No votes yet.
Well, I got to think of other couples.
Tyler doesn't know.
I mean,
Mixed. Who's in contention?
Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. He won the Super Bowl, and she's got
I don't feel like Travis is part
that
of Hollywood.
Is that a Hollywood couple, though?
he's got a game show coming out next month.
I would say Taylor is enough, but I don't know that Travis really is yet. So I probably would say hot.
Yeah,
I just got to think of other.
I mean, Beyonce and Jay-Z, I feel like they're always just like making money because she had that album. I don't know what exactly he's doing.
I wouldn't consider Jay-Z Hollywood either. I would Beyonce a little bit. Like, I mean, like, if Eva Mendes was still acting, you could make the argument for her and Ryan Gosling.
I guess Emily Blunt and John Krasinski.
Emily Blunt and John Krasinski, they have not had the highest grossing movies or anything, but John Krasinski has done multiple things. Emily Blunt has been in a summer movie.
That Ryan Gosling or Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively are the closest to like a royal type couple, like a married couple that we have. Like, I think it's Jay-Z and Beyonce.
So you'd be hot on that?
Yeah, I'll say hot.
I'm not going to go that far, but I mean, I would probably still be hot just because I can't think of another couple that has done movies this summer that have been successful other than John Krasinski and Emily Blunt, but The Fall Guy wasn't necessarily super successful. So, but If Was and A Quiet Place, I guess overall was.
It Ends With Us did really well in Thursday night previews. It's done really well with advanced ticket sales, and it is going to be a contender there.
And we're going on Saturday.
Okay. I mean, I who knows? I may see you around. I don't know which one of y'all are going to, but it is going to overperform expectations, I think, this weekend based on what I'm seeing just in pre-sales alone. John, clearly Deadpool and Wolverine looks like it's going to retain the top spot. Do you have It Ends With Us in the number 2 spot for your projections this week?
Yes, because Trap didn't make any money last week. It was 3rd, so I can't imagine it's going to do anything this week. Twisters will I guess be 3rd. Borderlands will make, I don't even know what the projections are, just based on everything.
I don't know either.
Borderlands will make $13 million.
Ooh. And it's going to be in some premium formats. I mean, it's sharing premium screens.
It's got
with
IMAX.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
I will say, I think when I booked our what's the movie called? It Ends With Us.
It Ends With Us.
When I booked our tickets like 2 weeks ago, it was playing in like 4 or 5 screens. And then I checked because I was like, I wish we could go a little bit earlier. And it is in like 20 screens now, and Borderlands is in, like, because Borderlands had all the screens, and now it's like, I don't think it's doing well, so we're giving it to this other movie.
Let's go to this one next. Channing Tatum hopes his Gambit cameo in Deadpool and Wolverine leads to a standalone Marvel movie. He said, quote, "From your mouth to God's ears, write it into existence, my friend, please. It's in Bob Iger and Kevin Feige's hands, I pray to God. Are you hot or cold on a solo Gambit movie being put on the fast track?" Cold for Laurel, cold for John, mixed bag for Tyler. Tyler, why are you indecisive on this one?
So that movie has been in development hell for years now. It's basically been in development as long as Borderlands or BioShock or any of these other movies we're never going to see. But Channing Tatum's Gambit character has absolutely taken over social media to the point where I think they might consider it. I can't go 2 posts without seeing, woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
I think the thing is, like, that was really funny and people liked it. I don't think he could do that for a full movie, so it would be a different character. Yeah. And I don't know if people would dislike it if he's playing it like for real.
And the only Marvel movie that has not fully been like announced, and we have like even logos and stuff. So basically everything we already have announced up to Secret Wars. The only thing that has not fully been announced that I would 100% bet on actually happening would be X-Men of some sort, because that has not actually officially been announced. I wouldn't bet on anything else right now with the way Blade has gone, with the way just the MCU in general has gone right now, and having to change the storyline up and everything. I would not bet on anything happening right now.
I've seen rumors that announcement will happen at D23.
That Blade's going away?
Not Blade going away. I think that was actually already removed from the slate
at
Comic-Con.
Yeah.
But I meant the X-Men announcement. My bad.
Bob Iger had some kind of earnings call this week that Blade was not listed on the schedule when they read it off.
Let's talk about the X-Men a little bit more. Patrick Stewart returning as Charles Xavier in Deadpool and Wolverine was never discussed or considered, according to Deadpool and Wolverine director Sean Levy, saying, quote, "Never even discussed, and it was studied by Emma Corrin big time, because the Cassandra siblinghood to Professor X is really interesting to us, but no, never discussed, never considered." Would you be hot or cold on us only getting James McAvoy as Professor X from this point forward in the MCU? Cold.
This is not a commentary on James McAvoy as Professor X. I just feel like you're missing.
I've been stumping Tyler today. He is.
I really don't know
stressing
because
over
I
these.
do like James McAvoy as Professor X.
We got Professor X in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. But the question is, from this point forward, can you bring Professor X back in with Patrick Stewart playing the role, or does it have to be McAvoy for it to feel fresh?
Depends on where you're going with the
That's what I think
timeline.
too.
But that very much does depend on what you do, because you can do anything right now. But Patrick Stewart's not like out of it to where it's like, oh, he's passed away, or oh, he's not able to do it anymore or anything.
Is there any other major superhero casting that we've ever seen that a character has died as many times as Professor X has died on screen? Played by Charles Xavier.
And that's why I'm conflicted,
He's died
because
twice.
normally
3 times. Logan,
Yeah.
Deadpool
Last
and
Stand.
I'm not Deadpool and Wolverine. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and
Yeah.
X-Men 3: The Last Stand.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Jean
about
Grey
that.
rips him apart.
That's right.
And was he sick in another movie? I don't know. I can't remember.
He was sick in Logan.
He
I
was
think
sick
he
in-
dies
sick
at
in
the
Logan.
end.
but-
He dies in Logan.
He wasn't sick in Days of Future Past or something like that.
He is sick. He
No,
doesn't die
Days
from
of
being
Future
sick.
Past, young Professor X needs like a certain serum or something.
He takes
to-
medicine that gets rid of his powers, but lets
Yeah.
him be able to walk.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Been a lot of heavy breathing in this particular segment.
Well, I mean, it's the kind of thing, until you can't use Patrick Stewart, I don't want you to forget that Patrick
it.
Stewart plays
Yeah.
the role.
Gotcha.
That's not, I mean, now I think James McAvoy does a very good job.
I do wonder how many more times they can keep going back to that well and it feels special.
And obviously, to be like a full member of a story, you need James McAvoy for it.
And I also think if you're looking at rebooting X-Men and doing another trilogy, another franchise, whatever, then you start to wonder, well, at what point will we have to recast Patrick Stewart?
We have Smuff saying, I love Patrick Stewart. I love him as X, but he's not going to live forever, sadly. We have Charles saying, I think he's showing his age, John. And we have Jace saying, we'll get to the point Professor X will either become off-screen AI or something. So, that is a
Has
very...
Patrick Stewart sold his likeness
I don't even think
for that?
I
I don't even
think
think
so.
you have to. I think they just use it now. For people.
Okay, we're going to stay in the MCU for one more round here. Henry Cavill smoked Wolverine's cigar on the Deadpool and Wolverine set and inhaled smoke for 8 hours straight and reportedly got really sick to his stomach, according to the director. He kept that cigar lit and in his mouth for the entirety of the shoot day. I remember hearing the next day that Henry was sick to his stomach because he'd been inhaling cigar smoke for 8 hours straight, but never once did he waver. Are you hot or cold on Henry Cavill being a serious contender to become the next MCU Wolverine? This is when Hugh Jackman officially hangs up the claws.
In like 30 years, according to Deadpool.
I can see him in the MCU. I think Hugh Jackman wants to keep playing Wolverine.
But if he decides to step away, they have to recast, right? So in this future recasting that is going to eventually happen at some time, Hugh Jackman can't play this role forever
how
and
old
eternity.
is Henry Cavill?
You can
41.
play it till he's 90.
41. I almost thought they would go for someone younger.
I think
now.
they would.
I think they have to go for somebody younger.
But do you at least consider Henry Cavill as a serious contender
I mean, maybe.
based on he seems to be pretty over with the crowd?
I wouldn't mind seeing him in the MCU. It's something, but I feel like to start over, that's
No,
a
a
tough
lot
one
of
to
people
start
thought Jon
over.
Snow when he got cast in Eternals. A lot of people thought he was going to be
A lot of
Wolverine.
people
And I
thought
think he would've
him
been good.
and Daniel Radcliffe, because the whole thing is
yeah.
they can have the look, but they're short.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, you want to be comic accurate like they were with the costume this time, and then they've made the short joke. Get somebody short that can actually play him.
You guys are getting really good at this. Jon Snow actor Kit Harington says he will never watch House of the Dragon, but calls a Game of Thrones prequel a much more natural extension of the franchise than his axed Jon Snow sequel series, saying, quote, a prequel is a natural thing to do. They did it with Better Call Saul and with House of the Dragon. You run into a lot of issues with the sequel. A lot of the cast are done with it by then, so who are you bringing back? Are you bringing back the same people? So no, I'm not surprised that a prequel is something that is easier to do. It's not easier to do, but a more natural place to go, at least. Are you hot or cold on the idea that a direct sequel series to Game of Thrones is way too difficult, risky, and expensive to make work? Are you hot or cold that basically it's too big of an issue to even try? It seems like all of you are like on the same page.
If they could go back, and I mean, I know but I wouldn't say there's no way to not entirely do it because they have done it with a few shows. Is just act like that last season didn't happen because they have done that with some. They have done that with some shows.
Retcon it,
but
saying that
how many more characters are you gonna have to bring back if you retcon the final season where a bunch of people die?
And we're also talking about House of the Dragon with their production budget being cut.
I think if they just did a movie, like act like the last season didn't happen, and like make a movie, I think that would be a way to like kind of. I mean, maybe too much time has passed now, but just so many people hate the finale. I think that's what soured. That's why HBO didn't even want to like do all of these shows because there were like 2 or 3 of these shows in pre-production at one point. I think they got scared because it's like, oh, everyone like hates this show now. Like, I don't know if we should just go all in on it. But
the truth is, if you were to pick up where Game of Thrones left off, let's say, and like, even if it skips ahead a couple years or you have a different focus on it or whatever, I mean. Every one of those cast members, their rates have gone through the roof to come back and play something.
Correct.
Plus, you have improved CGI to where more is expected of you because at least Drogon is still out there, so you have a dragon that you got to animate in.
Scheduling issues. There are narrative issues. There are who's going to lead the series. It's not going to be Benioff and Weiss anymore. And there are budgetary issues.
It does seem interesting that none of these people want to watch House of the Dragon because every single person, I wonder if they're a little jealous because House of the Dragon already does have the material. Like that's written, so you kind of have something to go by so like the writers can't mess it up too much.
John, how often do you turn on the radio to listen?
Never.
I think it's a similar thing of like, they've been in the weeds too long. They know all the little things that are triggers.
I would just be nice and say yes, though. Like, I don't think I could say no. Like, no, I don't want to watch it.
I was watching a podcast with Peter Dinklage yesterday.
I watched I sampled that as well.
Yeah, and he said
definitely cost so much money.
He played Tyrion for 9 years. He's just kind of done with that world, wants to watch other things, might revisit House of the Dragon in the future.
Yeah, he didn't want to completely disown Game of Thrones fandom because he knows what kind of clicks it's going to draw, but he was very honest when he was like he hadn't watched a minute of House of the Dragon, nor does he have any interest to. So
yeah,
we move on to this. Travis Scott was arrested in Paris this morning after a violent confrontation, reportedly with a security guard outside the 5-star George V Hotel.
Scott, you need an "It's Lit" button.
Scott was in Paris to attend this year's Olympics and was seen at the United States men's basketball semifinal match against Serbia on Thursday evening. Are you hot or cold on Travis Scott's music? Are you hot or cold on Travis Scott's music?
I don't know a single song that he's done besides the one that he did with Drake a couple of years ago.
I literally just listened to a Travis Scott playlist yesterday coming into work.
Is he the one that had the Future World? Like that had the
Astro World.
Astro World. Was that him?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, I only have listened to his music because I think he's had the best concert and events in Fortnite. It was incredible. I know it's a totally random thing, but
John likes video games, by the way.
No, that started a whole trend. You're not wrong.
It's why you should not go see Borderlands because John is a video game defender and he says this movie's absolutely trash. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a whole playlist. I can't find it now, but there's a whole playlist that I put together of music that they used in that. He basically did a concert with like a virtual version of himself all over the world and everything, and he ends up going into space, and they'd use it to basally redo the map like they do every season.
He does have kids with Kylie Jenner, so there's that, in case anyone's wondering.
Sure. So, isn't that the one that's Kendall, I guess, Timothy Chalamet's with?
No, it's Kylie.
It's Kylie.
Oh, yikes.
See, Tyler knows.
Yikes.
Okay.
Travis lost his girl.
I do like his music, though. He's had a lot of issues lately, but I do like his music.
Drake.
Yeah, I'm sad to say I missed the Utopia tour. I was planning on going, but
Tyler, what's the best Travis Scott track?
Oh, that's tough. Man.
This would be a lunch list for you to come up with your answer.
I'm gonna go through my music real quick.
It's not most popular. It's the one you like the most.
The best track is the Scots.
The Scots is good.
Him and Kid Cudi.
There's an old one called Drugs You Can Try. That one's great. Nightcrawler's good. Apple Pie. Stargazing. Goosebumps is great. Sweet. Wonderful with The Weeknd. He's got a lot of features with The Weeknd, John. You might like it.
Oh, I'm all about Travis Scott.
All right.
His music.
John, we're eating a lot less sweet apple pie, and the reason for that is because of our good friends at Way to Wellness.
That is right. That was
segue game on point today.
I'm glad I
American
threw
Pie,
one.
honestly.
Yeah, sure. There's Tim weighing in at Way to Wellness and me weighing in. You can get a plan that works for you, just like we both have a plan that works for us. Go to aplanforme.com. There's Leslie in the background. Her and her board certified team will get you on the right path, just like Tim and I are on the right path, just like Jim Dunaway is on the right path, just like my dad is on the right path. You too can be on the right path with your own plan. Go to aplanforme.com. Learn more about our friends at Way to Wellness.
Okay. Next question as we continue on with some hot or cold. Ridley Scott said he tried not to give Alien Romulus director Fede Alvarez too many notes during the making of the movie, saying, quote, Fede is a surge of energy, and I had to step back and let him do it. Fede had a blueprint firm in his mind, and his script was pretty clear. It was also long, but the screenplay's also always long, and so we got into that a little bit. Are you hot or cold on Alien Romulus likely being the best August movie you will see this year?
Honestly, I'm conflicted again, and that is because Sing Sing is supposed to go general release like next week, but that depends if we actually get it here.
Which one of those two movies are you looking more forward to, Alien Romulus or Sing Sing?
I'm looking more forward to Alien, but
Alien.
Sing Sing, I've heard nothing but amazing things about how it'll be a contender for Best Picture. So I'm excited to see that too.
So every now and then Laurel gets a set of eyes that is horror movie defender eyes, and she currently has those on right now. Talk to me, Laurel.
I've seen everyone that I think that it was screened the last 2 days, and people have said it's like one of the movies of the year. They said that like the last act is crazy. They said that I really, really like her. I think she's going to be one of the next like big people that they push.
And this is officially considered a requel, right? It's a reboot and a sequel at the same time.
But she kind of looks like Sigourney Weaver in the movie. Like I think they've kind of done that look, but I don't know. I think it looks like it has all the pieces and people are loving it, and horror movies are always big. And we haven't had like a good alien film in a while. So I think, and I like that you get to see the alien because, we kind of got teased with it in the others, like, because it doesn't exactly look like how the one that looks in the Sigourney ones, this one looks like how it's supposed to.
John, are you remaining abstinent from seeing Alien Romulus, or are you definitely going to see it?
No comment. Because if I say no, she'll say, "Oh, he's going to see it."
Okay.
But I already know I'm probably going to like Trap better than it, and
you're gonna like Trap better than Alien Romulus?
Yeah.
Did we see the same movie?
And well, that's just what my opinion about Aliens probably
You might
going
like
to
the
be.
Blake Lively movie. You don't know.
I may like that, and then I'm going to see Sing Sing in the next couple of weeks.
But Borderlands will not be in contention.
But it will not be Borderlands.
Okay.
Well, where are we going to see it, John? It hasn't played in the state yet.
Atlanta or somewhere.
Yeah, I'll go to Atlanta if I have to.
EG may see it before us.
Surely it'll pop up in Atlanta at some point.
EG could just go and get some popcorn this weekend and see Sing Sing before us.
No, well, what she would do is we would send her to go, like, you got to go see Sing Sing and report back. She would go in, get the popcorn, and be like, why am I here again? And then just walk out with the popcorn. And we'd be like, how was the movie? But I didn't watch the movie. Okay. Next question. Joni Mitchell's Vault will get an even deeper dig this fall with the release of a 6 CD box set that will bring together about 100 previously unreleased recordings from the fruitful late 70s period in which jazz exerted its greatest influence on her output. Are you hot or cold on CDs one day making a comeback like vinyl has?
Oh, yes, I hope so. I think so.
Ain't no chance, Laurel.
Nope.
Talk to me.
Because I'm on TikTok and I've been forced, since that's the platform that everyone uses. I see what younger people are doing, and they are all about physical media, and they are all about CDs. Taylor Swift herself sells out CDs because she puts up a different variant every other week, and those sell out like that.
Taylor Swift.
My question, though,
Sabrina
is...
Carpenter, Olivia Rodrigo, all these people use CDs. I'm telling you, that's what they want out there in the 90s. That's what Tyler's generation wants. To be in the 90s.
Well, Tyler's cold on it.
You say they sell out, but are they actually being used for the intended purpose, or is it like people collecting vinyl now to hang up?
See, I feel like a lot of it's like,
sake, or people
the vinyl
buying
sold out,
cassettes.
So I'll go buy the CD instead. Or
do we have a CD player in the house?
Do we?
Yes, it's in our bedroom. It's they're in the front. But see,
Tyler, me and you can get out the door and just let them fight.
Do we have more record players or CD players in the house?
we have one of each. Oh wait, you have what? Do you have one
I
downstairs?
have a record player
You
downstairs.
have more record players then.
Okay.
Wait, no, I have 2 CD players though, so it's kind of. I have one upstairs too.
Computers don't count.
No, I have a CD player. I have a Walkman upstairs.
Okay.
It's fine.
We're going to rename this segment "Marital Disputes," and it's going to take off.
We're all listening here anyway. I mean, come on.
I don't think anybody's buying the Joni Mitchell 6 CD box set,
They
though,
might.
right?
No.
Nobody.
There's no problem with Joni Mitchell. I just don't care to go buy a
There might be a
CD box
super
set.
fan. There's people out there.
It's a pretty brave thing to be like, I'm going to release a 6 CD box
Well,
set.
she must
for all
think
of my
it
fans.
then.
I don't
She
know.
just performed live at the Grammys.
Yeah.
All right, next question.
Like 95 years old.
Inside Out 2 is coming to digital release on August 20th after grossing $1.5 billion and becoming the highest grossing animated film of all time. The sequel will be available to buy for $29.99 or rent for $24.99 online on Prime Video, Apple TV, and other video on-demand platforms. Are you hot or cold on believing that we'll never, ever see the strategy return where Pixar feature films go straight to Disney Plus? You think we will see Pixar feature-length films go back to Disney Plus? And
Yeah.
I'm talking about
I think it will
skip theaters altogether.
starting there, yeah.
I think it will depend on like if they do kind of like remember that last dinosaur movie? Like that's something that I could see.
Good Dinosaur.
Which one is it?
The Good
Good
Dinosaur.
Whatever.
Dinosaur.
The Good Dinosaur. That's like something I could see going straight to streaming because like the reviews were already bad on it and no one cared about it. So it's like, okay, well we know let's don't worry about putting it in theaters. It's not gonna make any money. So let's cut the loss and let's just stick it on streaming.
There will be some stuff like that, which I have ranked as my worst Pixar movie of all time.
I thought it was the last
This was
dinosaur.
a failed strategy. You agree with that? It was a failed strategy for their every movie that they released directly to Disney Plus cost them tons of money and critical acclaim, I think.
Now, Soul, I think the time it came out, I don't blame them for. I don't remember Turning Red. I feel like Turning Red probably should have been in the theater, even though I did not like that one either. And Luca is my second least favorite, and I believe it was straight to Disney Plus. I could be wrong.
But I have a question. Do you think either one of those would have done super great at the box office?
I think Turning Red would have done okay.
Turning Red probably would have
Soul,
been.
and I think Soul would have done pretty decent.
I think between the 3 movies altogether, you're at least getting an extra $1 billion between the 3.
Yeah.
Probably so. I think there will be something that they put into production along the way, and along the way it falters and turns into a Borderlands, and they put it on Disney Plus. B, there's some kind of sequel they want to do to something where it ultimately is a feature-length film, but it's like,
Luca too.
let's just put this out for the kids kind of thing
Yeah.
on Disney Plus. Or C, they're going to get to a point with Disney Plus that they're like, oh crap, we got to generate some buzz. Hey, Inside Out 3 is only going to Disney Plus.
But
now, maybe not a movie like that, but something
But
along those lines.
Let me say this. One more thing is a reason I don't think they'll go back to the strategy. The movie that has generated more Disney Plus subscribers than anything has been 2015's Inside Out. Some of the numbers here recently that correlate the subscriber growth with Disney Plus and the amount of hours that movie was watched ahead of Inside Out 2 is insane. And I do think housing previous IP to promote future IP during a theatrical run will continue to be one of the mainstays of their distribution
I don't disagree
strategy.
with that.
I just think they're thinking they leave too much money on the table if they go, even no matter how bad the quality is, if they go direct to Disney Plus. And I think they're going to change that up. But we will see. We will see. Only time will tell. Next one here, live from New York. It's the first Saturday night. The trailer for Jason Reitman's Saturday Night has been released. And with it comes a nerve-wracking look at the chaotic 90 minutes that led up to the first SNL broadcast. Are you hot or cold on the first trailer? Have you seen it, John?
I have.
Laurel, have you seen the trailer?
I have.
Now, I asked a couple of weeks ago whether or not this would be a movie that would be in awards contention for the Oscars. Has anybody's opinion changed on that? Y'all are all hot on the trailer.
I'm not ready to go that far
Almost
yet.
everybody was cold on this being an award-worthy movie. Based on what you've seen, do you feel more optimistic about that?
Yeah, because I think, and I'm not saying this like as anything like a knock on the movie, because I think the movie's gonna be really good. I don't know how many strong movies there have been this year, so this could be one of those movies that I could see. I mean, there's 10 movies.
Screenplay, editing.
There's
10
movies you gotta nominate for Best Picture, like that you have the option to, and they usually use all 10. So I'm saying that there is a way for a movie like this. Is kind of like Licorice Pizza. Kind of had that feel to it.
What'd you think of Nicholas Braun playing
I love
Jim Henson?
I thought it was good.
I thought it was great.
See,
He's playing Jim Henson and Andy Kaufman.
Oh, he's playing.
Oh, is
Andy
that
Kaufman
who's playing
too?
Andy Kaufman? I thought that was spot on casting.
He's Andy
He's
Kaufman.
doing
and then he puts
the
that
Mighty
big old
Mouse
beard
bit.
on, and he's Jim
I
Henson.
didn't know that he was playing Andy Kaufman too. That's great.
Which was Philip Seymour Hoffman's son?
He's playing Dick Ebersol.
Okay.
Like when they're in the staircase talking in the trailer. It's him and Lauren kind of talking back and forth. That's him.
There's only one casting where I was like, I'm not sure yet, and it was Lauren. I'm not sure if I'm buying because there's.
I don't really know that guy.
You don't know Lauren?
Oh, no,
okay.
the guy who's playing him.
John Belushi?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's an unknown.
He
It's an
looks
unknown.
he
He's the
looks
one person
similar.
that doesn't have a link name on Wikipedia when I click on him. Gabriel LaBelle is playing Lauren. He was the young Sammy Fableman in The Fablemans.
Okay.
That's the only thing that I've seen that he's been in.
Who's playing Chevy Chase? Because that is also another spot on casting. Whoever that guy is.
That
He was
guy
very good.
was. I mean, just in the trailer, I cannot wait to watch the Chevy Chase portrayal in this because it is going to. I mean, his reputation's already.
It's a guy named Corey
dirt.
Michael Smith who played the Riddler on the Fox version of Gotham.
Yeah.
Like the TV show.
This movie I cannot wait for.
Yeah.
It is one of my most anticipated of the year after having seen the trailer. I didn't even know about this movie's existence going into the year, but now the more and more I hear about it, the more excited I am. So I'm looking very forward to that particular film. Okay, we move on to this. Hunter Schafer admitted that she has no blanking idea what's going on with Euphoria. Even though the HBO series is set to begin filming its long-delayed third season in January of 2025, this sort of leads into what you've been sort of, ringing the bells about here,
But,
Laurel.
I mean, they've also said that Zendaya and old boy like hate each other. Like, what's his name?
Jacob Elordi. Oh, Sam Levinson, you mean?
Sam Levinson.
Yeah.
Like they said that there's like really bad blood because they are not on like even speaking terms. So
Yeah, he wanted her to film those scenes, right?
I think he like kept thinking of weird ideas, and she was like, "No, I'm an executive producer. Like, I want to do this," and he was like, "No, this is a better idea," and she's like, "I don't think so."
Season 3, who knows? Are you hot or cold on seeing Hunter Schafer's latest movie, Cuckoo?
Hard pass.
Hard pass?
I'll go see it.
You're going to see, and then Tyler,
I've
you
already
went
seen it. So
last night.
this would be in Fuego, I guess, because I've already done it.
So you highly recommend it?
I would, if you're a fan of suspenseful movies and weird body horror, then I think this is a pretty solid
You said body horror? Wait, what?
body horror. Like just people getting
First Omen,
disfigured,
sort of.
transformed, all that weird stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah, very.
So are you less?
I just have never heard that term before,
Oh.
but no, I'm still, yeah.
Yep.
When they're not listening to CDs, that's what the kids say these days. Body horror.
Body horror.
Very weird movie. Third act is it gets a little messy, kind of like Trap does.
Yeah.
But overall, solid movie.
Was the crowd into it?
Yes, crowd was very much into this movie.
I can't believe that Dan Stevens is like Beast, and he's been in so many things. I know his name now. I used to always forget that he was Beast because I always think of that Luke Evans guy who's like Gaston.
Yeah.
And he's like, I feel like he's been in a lot of movies this year. Like Dan
Tons.
Stevens has.
Tons
Abigail,
of movies.
Godzilla.
And all like weird movies. Like nothing like normal, but like all weird movies.
Now, obviously, when the strikes were going on, Dan Stevens was still working. Okay. Next up, this is one I'm really curious because we had the Disney Plus discussion about distribution. Hear me out on this one. Apple Original Films has decided to shake up its release strategy as it doubles down on the upcoming action comedy Wolves, starring George Clooney and Brad Pitt. They're going to give it a 1-week run in theaters. They are also promoting that they have already made a deal with director John Watts to helm, write, and produce a sequel for this film that brings back both A-list stars. Are you hot or cold on both of these strategies of a 1-week theater run and announcing a sequel starring both performers being a good idea?
Streetwater sour cream, but that might end up working for this movie because it looks absolutely abysmal.
I'm not hyped about this movie from everything I've seen.
Yeah.
I don't like this thing where I think that ended up being, well, the Fall Guy actually ended up making money. Like, I think it made its budget back and like then some. But the thing was, they put it on streaming like 2 weeks after it came out. And it's like, why are you doing that when you're trying to get people to go to the movies? but then you're like, well, it's only gonna be out for a week, and then it's gonna be on. It just seems like a bad strategy. And like I'm with Tyler.
And a $25 digital rental is a hard sell. That is, that's gross.
Apple is not necessarily trying to get people to go to the movies. Apple wants people to come right here.
Correct.
And that is it. So,
but what they're using is the theatrical run to promote Watch It digitally.
Right. And
on Apple Plus.
I do not think it's necessarily a smart strategy. I do not, however, blame them for doing the strategy they're doing, because that movie, when that first trailer came out, I feel like got no buzz and nobody cared.
No, it doesn't look good.
Are they out?
This is a pivot.
Is Brad Pitt still relevant? Because I feel like everyone hates him now because of all this divorce stuff that's going on, and he's got something new every week.
Well, Brad Pitt, we've had this conversation before. There are very few box office draws. Brad Pitt is definitely not right now a box office draw. There are very few.
Is George Clooney?
No, he's not.
No, but like
maybe 10 years ago. I don't.
The thing is, like, I guess the last big movie Brad Pitt did was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
That had Leo and Tarantino.
Well, but that's what I'm saying.
And Margot Robbie.
See,
but that's what I'm saying. I feel like there's almost, and you may disagree, but I feel like there's almost more behind X director is doing a movie as opposed to X movie is starring a certain actor in it, no matter how big the actor is. Because if Tarantino puts a movie out right now, people are going to see it no matter who he casts in it. Now, he is going to cast a lot of big people in it, likely.
Here's what I'll agree that there are more directors that can sell movies than actors that can sell movies right now at this particular point. And like, but when you have that blending of the same, where it's like person who used to be a draw with major director, it can be dynamite. Which
like, I would almost be teasing Wolf's as John Watts' Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
So like, I'd almost be teasing it as, hey, this dude that did Spider-Man is doing a new thing, but guess what? Brad Pitt and George Clooney are in it, instead of George Clooney and Brad Pitt are reuniting after Oceans and doing something that's nothing like that.
Do you think Netflix has their radar up on how well this works? Because they can't find that right balance either of what to do with their films with.
And the thing is
that Beverly Hills Cop sequel got no buzz, and you would think just
but it got a lot of eyeballs because.
And the thing is, what are you
click on?
What are you going for? Are you going for eyeballs, or are you going for holding statues in a few months into the year? Because
I think there's a third one, which is box office revenue / subscriber growth. It's
I'll
two
include
things.
all
Which
that
one are you? Apple thinks they can get both with this strategy.
I'll include all that in the eyeballs category. But like, I don't know what the release strategy was for Coda, but it won Best Picture and got Apple all kind of accolades. I don't know what the release strategy was for Power of the Dog. I think that was the same year. That it got a ton of people going to Netflix saying, this is a movie that's on Netflix. It's a Netflix movie that's nominated for a ton of awards. I thought that was also a different time
because that was like the height of COVID, so everyone was just like inside anyway.
And that's part of it, kind of with the Disney thing. You're kind of comparing COVID times versus now. But at the end of the day, is Apple almost happy with when Wolf comes out, it doesn't explode. But it comes out here, September? Sometime. Like, it'll have legs to carry through March or April because we're trying to, and I'm not saying this will be an award contender, but is that what they're trying for? That it's an awards contender that over the course of 8 months, you end up getting enough people to subscribe to Apple Plus, Apple TV Plus, whatever, to end up watching something like that. Does Netflix do the same thing? As opposed to, this seems like a pivot because, oh crap, this movie's not going to make enough money. We probably spent enough on it between our director, who's decently big, and 2 giant actors to create something we got to recoup. Let's try to just push it on Apple Plus and get some more people signed up there because it's not going to blow it up at the box office. It depends, I guess, on what your strategy is, because a movie like Coda or Power of the Dog, even though that had a good cast in it, are never going to blow up the box office necessarily. Those were created to be award contenders. Yeah. So it kind of depends on what your strategy is. So strictly from a strategy standpoint, but not necessarily just this movie, from a strategy standpoint, it kind of depends on what you want to do with it.
You know what else it's a strategy that it does? It tries to make people like Clooney and Brad Pitt happy that they're able to get that traditional theatrical run, because what you have seen is a lot of friction between stars going, oh man, straight to streaming is now like, DVD, straight to DVD was back in the day. Like, you don't want that with your reputation. So, but ask Kevin Costner, who was hell-bent on his Horizon series being a 4-part, every one of them's getting a theatrical release, and then all of a sudden Horizon Chapter 2.
Is that still gonna, how many of those are we actually gonna see?
He has not pulled the...
You know who's had the better strategy for releasing a 4-part series, though? By far and away, Zack Snyder. Rebel Moon has been awful, but you know what? People have watched it. He just sent it straight to Netflix, and he has been wildly successful compared to Kevin Costner, who's trying to do the same thing, but it's got to be in theaters, and nobody goes to see it. The director's cuts are awful, by the way.
Did he say it made more than Barbie, though?
He said more people saw it than Barbie.
He said it was, I think, more successful than Barbie because of how many more people saw it.
Then if you attach the $15 ticket price to all those people that watched it, we would have made, $5 billion. But
Look,
it has
Would have
worked.
been more than that.
It has
said like 2 billion people watched it.
Ultimately, it has worked for him. Like, strictly this strategy. It has not worked at all for Kevin Costner.
It has not worked for the fans, though. It has not worked for the viewers. It has not worked for the consumers.
The movies are just bad. If they were good,
Movies
it
are
probably
bad.
would work.
Yeah. Zack Snyder has a wonderful pool. He's doing something great there with inking this deal with Netflix. But at least every third outing, you get Adam Sandler to care about what he's producing, it feels like. And
Although I feel like
he's got the same Netflix deal.
I feel like Army of the
UB
Dead
Halloween 2.
I feel like Army of the Dead was like super well received, and it win whatever weird fan Oscar
That
that
fake
year.
Oscar, yeah.
That year that it came out, I was all about Army of the Dead, and it gave me so much promise. But everything since, it's all been downhill because he's just cashing checks. All right, next.
I would too.
Interstellar will be shown in 70mm IMAX prints as well as digital screens when it's re-released in December. This after being scheduled originally to re-release on September 27th. They pushed it back for some reason. Studio sources dispute a rumor that 70mm prints of the film were destroyed. Paramount claims it has archived more copies of the movie than most other pictures. Are you hot or cold on seeing Interstellar in IMAX this December?
I guess we're going.
I'll see it because I've never seen it before.
Oh, that's good, Tyler.
You've never seen Interstellar?
Never seen Interstellar. It's
You
one
need
of
to go
those
see it in
movies like
I've never seen it in IMAX. I've
I'm
only
saying.
seen it on the small screen.
We all need to go see
right
it in
down the street
IMAX
from
when it
our
comes out in
house.
December. That'll be our Christmas party.
IMAX theater sucks.
Yeah, I'd rather not see it in IMAX.
You agree the seats, we're talking about the seats.
The seats are
seats
uncomfortable.
suck.
The viewing, if you just take the seats out, if you're floating in air in both Prime and IMAX, not even remotely
I like it
close.
because they give me a printed ticket.
And Laurel gets a printed ticket for her archives.
And I went to go see a 70mm showing of Oppenheimer, and the screen at that specific theater was flickering the entire time in a way that it was not supposed to be. The bulb was messed up or something.
That was supposed to add to the tension.
In the IMAX theater?
Yes. And I know that it was a mess up because I'd seen the movie 3 other times to that point, and I knew exactly what the texture should look like in specific shots.
That has not happened when we've gone to IMAX lately.
Anyway, I'm glad that landed with Laurel, even though it was not a joke. It was not.
It sounds like one of those things from South Park.
It's not meant to be humorous. All right, here we go. Last one. Cartoon Network has been scrubbed from the web as Warner Brothers Discovery has pulled the channel's website, which now just redirects visitors straight to the Max landing page. Are you hot or cold on the Cartoon Network brand's best days being in the rearview mirror?
Yeah, in fuego.
Yep.
Is the easiest question
How
you've
did
asked
they-
so far.
How did they drop the ball so bad on Cartoon Network? Because there's an appetite for content from Cartoon Network, and it seems like they're doing everything they can to distance themselves from the brand, Tyler.
There were several rebrands in the early to late 2000s, but typically when you refer to Cartoon Network's golden age, people are talking about, up until 2004, 2005, 2006 maybe. But when you see the block, every letter as a block in the logo, that's how you know it's peak Cartoon Network. When they changed to CN, everything went downhill.
And I feel like right now, I don't know what the numbers are because the later time period makes it harder to get more eyeballs, but Adult Swim is vastly more popular than actual Cartoon
Absolutely.
Network is because Adult Swim starts at like 4 or 5 o'clock now, I feel like. Now, what they're doing, I think the last I saw on vacation or something, I was trying to watch Family Guy and I saw ads for it. I think they're showing old Cartoon Network cartoons
Yes,
They are.
in a block from like 4 to 7 or something like that before then they pick up with like Family Guy or something like that.
They brought back Toonami recently to try
Yeah.
and get numbers back.
Toonami's been a thing they've gone with too, because like every Saturday's been Toonami for a long time. But even Cartoon Network itself, I think when Adventure Time stopped, that was the end of Cartoon Network because that was by far their biggest cartoon. I think regular show's gone. Like, I don't know that Teen Titans Go is on anymore, which the original Teen Titans was better, but at least I think some eyeballs got there. All of those shows disappeared to where I don't even know what's new on Cartoon Network anymore because it's gone downhill so
Good
much.
question.
What is Rick and Morty even on?
Adult Swim,
Adult Swim.
which is
Okay.
Cartoon Network, but it's their adult part in the back.
Is Steven Universe still going? That was Cartoon Network's big show for a while.
See, I don't think it's going either.
Powerpuff
but
Girls on Cartoon Network.
Powerpuff Girls.
They were.
So there's a block of Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Lab, Johnny Bravo, like Cow and Chicken, Courage, the Tick. I don't think that was on Cartoon Network. But like, there was such a heyday of shows back then that all left.
I think the Tick was a WB for kids.
Then there was like a new round of like Adventure Time, regular show, all these cartoons that like even being older you could still watch and enjoy. Now all those are gone, and there's just literally nothing there anymore because Adult Swim is where all the kids who grew up. Like if there was an Adult Swim of like Nickelodeon shows, would probably work if they instead of Nick at Night now. I feel like, and I don't even know what they do on Nickelodeon honestly, but I feel like if they moved off Nick at Night and made Nick at Night more like an Adult Swim, they showed old school Rocko's Modern Life and Ren and Stimpy and stuff like that.
Rocket Power.
Yeah, it would be way more popular. Even show like Rugrats and Doug and stuff like that would probably be way more popular. So I'm not surprised that Cartoon Network has died, and you can pretty much watch it all on Max now anyway.
They had earnings calls from almost every major network, and almost every one of them had to report massive losses because anybody who's still in that sort of traditional direct-to-consumer cable package and subscription, with the amount of cancellations that you're seeing of cable, it's cutting into customers that are indirectly paying for things they don't want. We talked about this with ESPN and its future. One day, you will see the ESPN brand sold off to some major digital tech company that right now is their competitor and will soon be their owner, because there is power to that brand resonating with people, but there is not a lot of power being on a cable service that you are demanding revenue from people who don't even maybe sample your product. That's just going to, that bubble's already popped, and you are seeing the ramifications of that with all the layoffs and all the different future structures with, you know, these leagues looking at digital broadcasters first now compared to those traditional Titan broadcasters that we've seen for so many years.
And my only problem with Max right now, I still think Max is by far the best streaming service, and I think their purchase of like the Discovery stuff like Food Network, HGTV, all that made it even better. And of course have all the Cartoon Network Adult Swim stuff so you can watch like Rick and Morty and all that. My only problem, and I don't know if this is the case with the Cartoon Network stuff because I'm honestly not going to Max to look up, you know, Dexter's Lab or Adventure Time or anything. No. I have actually done it for Adventure Time, but I haven't done like the old stuff.
I was watching Courage the other day. It's still
great.
So
there's still stuff on there, but my problem is in their issues over the last couple of years, you know, kind of start with the Batgirl moment, moving on, they have started to delete things from their own catalog. The biggest one for me being Westworld, that they completely deleted off the servers to where that's where you're going to start running into trouble. It's like, if I want to watch House of Cards right now, even though that show's been off for a long time, but it's like I'm into a political thriller, House of Cards is still going to be on Netflix. I can't ever see them getting rid of shows like that, but Max has gotten rid of
Over the Garden Wall. Does anyone know what that is?
No.
Is this really? I don't know. It's like this cartoon that's like really well known, and like it's the perfect fall cartoon. And people were devastated last year when they took that off. Like they're like, so now it just like doesn't exist anymore.
It's like whatever server you had to house these shows on cost too much money, so you got rid of it, and half these shows are gone. So I don't know if it's that way with Cartoon Network, but if you're going to ditch Cartoon Network, you need to make that stuff available.
You know, residuals. These companies don't like to pay out residuals. And if a show is not being watched very much, and if it is, even if it's going to make a group of their subscribers angry enough to cancel, they're willing to take that hit to not have to pay out the residuals for those creators to continue to get compensation. It's a very tough situation for sure, and it's one where streaming, it creates as many problems as it aims to solve for the consumer, because yeah, you may love the convenience of streaming until the rights for a show go into a wonky territory, and then all of a sudden you got to either sign up for a completely new service in order to watch it because that's where the rights landed, or you have to rely on those physical box sets. We kind of jumped on Laurel a little bit for the whole CD discussion, but like DVD, Blu-ray box sets may be the only way to watch it.
And John was shocked when I showed him on TikTok, what are people doing now?
A lot of things.
With the VHS tapes. What are they doing?
Oh yeah, people collect VHS
People are
tapes.
collecting VHS, but not only that, they go to thrift stores,
Mm-hmm.
they find it, then they themselves will make their own cover art that you can buy or they keep for themselves, but they take it, like someone did one for Nope recently, someone did one for Lisa they make their own, and then they put it up, and people, they're gone within like minutes, like they posted on Etsy or wherever they're selling it from. That's where it's physical media. The younger generation wants physical media because a lot of it can just disappear.
Sometimes I'll click on videos and I'll think it's some nice VHS video, and all of a sudden they cut into it and it's just cake. And I'm like, what's the point of that?
How'd I get on this show again?
Yeah, everything is cake.
It's like, oh, they brought Westworld back. Nope, it's just Westworld but cake.
It's just cake. Everything is just, nope, cake again. So every time I expect something to be cake when I see it. Tyler walked in one day, I was like,
is it cake? The
Tyler
answer is
made a
usually
cake.
yes.
Anyway.
I have to point this out in the chat
Cutting
room.
into his shoulder. Oh, no, wait.
Smuff and Jace brought up Space Ghost Coast to Coast as
Oh,
one of the
yes.
greatest Adult Swim shows. Is that still streaming on Max?
I believe it is, and they mentioned Aqua Teen Hunger Force, which is
For
definitely.
now.
I have watched a lot of Aqua Teen on Max. So I know it's there. I do think I've seen Space Ghost, and I have seen Harvey Birdman as well. So I think a lot of the old stuff that is Adult Swim specific, like unique stuff.
Venture Brothers, all that.
All of that I think is there. Now, obviously, you're not going to find like Family Guy and all that because that's Fox or Disney now. But that's all on Hulu. But yeah.
Still watch Robot Chicken as well.
And Josh says, playing my Warlock on World of Warcraft and having those shows on, that's what I do still now.
It's comfort food for a lot of people, but it's not driving the type of growth that Warner Brothers wants. And right now it looks like they are really bringing the hammer down on Cartoon Network and in its future. All right, that's going to do it for Hot or Cold. Thank you, everyone, for participating. Always a fun time talking about those trending entertainment topics that go right into the weekend for us here on this fun Friday. Want to update you again on Ben Affleck and Matt Damon and what they're doing. They're producing an upcoming movie about Hulk Hogan's infamous courtroom battle with the website Gawker. And sources told TMZ that while the wrestler is indifferent about the project at this moment, he won't hesitate to sue if he feels like the film violates his privacy, which would be quite ironic that this was about a major lawsuit that Hulk Hogan ended up forming with Gawker, and then they make a movie about it and he sues again. That would be fascinating. Rumors say that Affleck is playing the Hulkster, which leads us to wonder just how that portrayal could land. I don't see any world in which Ben Affleck wins me over as Hulk Hogan, but that's a whole nother discussion. I'm currently cold on it.
Remember, and this is the Batman thing, do you remember when he was photographed and he had like that huge back tattoo and he was like, oh, I got it because he was like, it's fake, like it's not real. And then it turned out that he was lying and it totally is real because he's like, oh, it's like a prop for Batman. And it's like, no, you just got a midlife crisis back tattoo.
He's been living a midlife crisis
We
for
could
a
go
while.
through 50 Ben Affleck is a train wreck stories for sure, but yeah, that was an all-timer right there, the back
What
tattoo.
kills me is the part you just said, though, about Hulk's not going to do anything unless he doesn't like the movie. This whole story is really negative towards Hulk Hogan.
Well, he's threatening some legal
Because it's not just
action.
Hulk's life, it's about a very specific story that has had documentaries and all very
when I
negative
first
towards him.
glanced at it, I thought it was going to be like when he went on trial for like Vince McMahon, because Vince McMahon has gotten sued numerous times too, especially for like the steroids
Now that's a
and
biopic
all
we're all
that
waiting
too.
for.
I thought it was going to be with that when he had to go testify for Vince McMahon.
There's
but
5 places really that you could catch Hulk Hogan at any given moment. A wrestling ring,
A courtroom.
the beach, and his surf shop. I count that as sort of the same.
his daughter.
I mean,
Have you not seen the photos?
somewhere with his daughter, yeah.
I wasn't going to get into that. I was going to say, being a Mr. Nanny, there's a potential that he's side hustling there.
Fighting Rocky.
Fighting Rocky in a boxing ring, but also or a gym. I was going to say
Yeah.
he's always in the gym. But the 5th one is a courtroom. He's been in a courtroom
100%.
He was
a
also-
bajillion times.
He was in that documentary we watched about Lou Pearlman. He was in like 5.
Oh, yeah, he was.
He was in like 5 scenes, like in the background, and
Is
like
that thing me and Bernie were talking about, Dirty Pop, that's about like the formation of NSYNC and Backstreet
Yeah.
Boys, the guy that did it, like ran a pyramid scheme and everything, and Hulk Hogan randomly pops up and all this stuff for Lou Pearlman. It's like, golly, he does like to find himself in a courtroom.
Yeah. In the movie Detroit, instead of John Krasinski, I was expecting it to be Hulk Hogan popping in going, I'm sorry, where is my trial being held? And then they cut him and he turns into cake. It would have been amazing. Anyway, rumors say Affleck is playing the Hulkster, which leads us to wonder just how that portrayal could land. What other actors could find success with being linked to notable wrestling personalities? It's time to find out now on Luntz's list.
What is this? What is this? Nonsense list, nonsense list, oh. What is this? What is this? Nonsense list, nonsense list, oh. Nonsense list to buy. Nonsense list to buy. Nonsense list to buy. Nonsense list to buy.
Alrighty, John, this may be a tough list to wrap your head around, but here is the task. I want you to cast 5 actors other than Ben Affleck that you think would be a good fit to play 5 wrestlers other than Hulk Hogan. Did you understand this assignment from the get?
So like,
But The Rock cannot play The Rock.
right. Cena can't play Cena.
Cena can't play Cena.
Um,
We're making
Now,
an
can-
Iron Claw style movie.
Could Batista play The Rock though?
can Dwayne Johnson play The Rock?
No.
Can Dwayne
No.
Johnson play Rocky Johnson?
Could Dwayne Johnson act?
Now,
No wrestler actors can be cast.
Okay, because technically I think that one could have been good, but this is gonna be one I feel like everybody's gonna hate. I have pictures for my top 5 to at least show a picture.
Good.
This is because I am not as into wrestling as Tim is. I am not as even into wrestling in the grand scheme of my life as my wife is. I feel like we were all way more into wrestling than Tyler is. So it's
I used to be.
I think we're all different levels of being able to judge your picks, all probably ripping them apart, but
Yeah.
trying to root for them.
The other problem is there's a lot of people I look at pictures of them now and wrestlers now and be like, that would be perfect. But if you're making a movie, you're not making a movie about somebody right now. Now, the Hulk Hogan Bubba the Love Sponge trial, you could pretty much cast him now-ish because that was not that long ago. Like, if you cast somebody
You
look like
could.
him right now, like, it's okay. You're not going back to, like, WrestleMania 3 and that being
But could
the
you
pinnacle
have
of
cast Jordan as Jordan in Air?
it. No.
You don't, even if it would have been.
If you still had just from the behind, then yes.
I don't think you could have.
Because
I think they did the
all
right
you saw
move.
was the back of his head. But
They're trying to do that same sort of thing with this.
I tried to kind of do the middle of like actors that are big that you would actually want to go see in a movie that could actually look like a wrestler of some sort.
Yes.
That it may be more present day than more back in the day. Like, if you were to cast the, oh my God, I just forgot the Iron Claw family. Von Erich family.
Yeah.
Now it'd be very different than casting it back then. So you're not going to cast Zac Efron as that guy now because he's a lot older, and they did AEW for promotion, and they don't look anything like what Zac Efron looked.
I'm a wrestling fan. I'm also a fan of that movie overall and of the performances in it. And I even almost said the Von Trapps, which would have been a very different type of movie. Very different.
Yes, but also a good movie. So just take it as it is.
Yep. We're not going to be too harsh, but unfortunately, you do have to unveil your list at some point.
I do. Okay, let me get my pictures.
I was like, do I have to?
This is my first one.
Jace, the names you're throwing out are great there, but playing what roles? That is the question. Playing what characters?
Back to the Hulk Hogan movie. I hope that if he does sue the makers of this movie, he shows up to court in all black with the do-rag like he did
I mean,
last
he
time.
Don't put the
probably
wrestler
would,
name. Don't put the
He's
wrestler
got
name.
to, right?
Don't put the
Yes,
wrestler name.
the Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Remember that?
Yeah.
Don't put the wrestler name. Did anybody see who he was writing out?
Bradley Cooper as...
Okay, I want us to try to guess who Bradley Cooper would be cast as with the wrestler, right?
Well,
Okay.
you can probably already see the picture over here. So
No, I can't see. I have not seen the picture.
Is this someone from? Can you say WWF or WWE?
yeah, it's WWF.
Okay.
I said
Oh,
WWF
Triple H.
more for a reason. No.
Ooh, that would be very
Ah,
good.
I have
Yeah.
a really good one, and I don't think it's gonna be on the list. Can I go ahead and say it? Because I think
No.
these. Okay.
Because every time Tyler's like, I thought you were going to
We're
put this.
just trying to guess who Bradley Cooper would play.
Okay.
I would go Mr. Perfect. I think that would be a good
I'm saying Triple H.
Okay.
good role. Tyler's like Rey Mysterio for every
Um,
one of them.
I wish.
It's like, that's the thing. I found somebody, I was trying to look and see like some pictures and everything, and I saw a random like casting for Kane, and it's like, but you just put a mask on. I
Ooh,
mean,
Pavlik said HBK.
HBK.
Oh,
correct.
good
Oh, no.
job, Brian Pavlik. This is the
That's
way
a
to
good
make
one.
it a little bit more interaction. You just put the actor up there, and we'll guess the part.
So there's the pic. This is I think the only one I actually had a side by side.
Excellent. Excellent. My favorite Luntz's list, by the way, are always the ones he downplays because he knocks them out of the park. This is a great start.
It may go downhill from here, but
wow, that is
Good
close.
job,
I didn't
John.
know it was that close.
I mean, that's pretty close, right?
Good.
Let's see.
I can't see the picture,
That's
but
good.
Yeah, that is close.
older
That
picture,
is
Shawn
close.
Michaels and Bradley Cooper,
Listen,
kind of just a
An
scruff.
older Shawn Michaels now definitely looks like
Yeah.
an older Bradley Cooper now.
And I think
It
Shawn
works.
Michaels is like 7-8 years older, I think, in actuality. So if I could get a little age gap there, then I think you could maybe
They
make
can
it.
de-age
You could
and
back
they
it
can
off a
age
little
up,
bit
yeah.
and be okay. But
now I really want to see Bradley Cooper just sweet chin music someone.
somehow randomly looking around, I saw a random video from back in the day when he gave the sweet chin music to some girl, like a little girl. It was like an
Wait,
8-year-old.
what?
Oh my
It's
gosh.
some bit, and he was like in the kitchen of something. I don't remember this.
Oh,
He's like in the kitchen. There's this little girl, and he's yelling at this little girl, and off screen he pretends to like kick her, and you don't see her. You just see her off the
Honestly,
screen, and like a bunch of lettuce comes flying.
it might be when he was pretending to be Hulk Hogan. He did that for like
I
a
don't
bit.
remember.
He like pretended when he wrestled Hulk Hogan. He like pretended to be Hulk Hogan, like leading up to it. It might be from that from my reality show.
All right, strong start here, John. They're
Strong
all
start.
downhill.
It's all
from
downhill
here.
from here. I should have made this number one. The thing is, I actually had this higher, and I started. I don't know. I'll kind of move it down. I ended
Okay,
up moving it down.
just
to
give us the actor, and we'll take the guess. But we'll go around. Everybody gets one vote, and then Pavlik's gonna tell us who it actually is. Okay.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. Who in the world? Oh,
I love this one personally.
Tell us who
I
it
didn't
is,
put it
Pavlik.
higher because I thought y'all would not like it, but I love this one personally. And I have a
Christian
picture.
Bale.
I have a picture that when you look at it, trust me, you're going to see it. Say, that looks just like him.
Sting.
It's more present day.
that's a good.
Who'd you say, Sting?
Sting.
That's a great guess.
It's not a bad guess. This is more present day what this person looks like as opposed to back in the day, but I think you can make it work still.
I would have picked Brandon Lee to play Sting.
I would have
Is that
picked.
the Crow?
Womp womp.
Honestly, I would have picked Sebastian Stan.
It's Brandon Lee the Crow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Don't
Sting
you-
ripped off the crow
Don't you,
from.
Yeah,
don't you think
I'm
Sebastian
reverse-
Stan
I'm
looks
so tired
like
of that trailer.
looks like him?
I had Sebastian Stan as somebody and I erased it. I don't remember who it was.
I feel like they look alike.
I don't think Pavlik's right on this one. He said Triple H. I don't think he's right on this one.
He's not right. I don't know about that one.
I don't think Christian Bale works as Triple
He's got
H.
dark hair.
Okay, I'm going to take a guess here. I've got to guess somebody. Who would Christian Bale play in a wrestling movie? You know, I'm going to go Vince McMahon.
Okay, I'm gonna put the picture up, and now you tell me based on this picture. This is a picture from GQ
Looking
recently.
at the picture.
Let me see.
Christian Bale. Ooh, old man Christian Bale. Who would he be playing is what you're asking, right? Bray Wyatt?
Brian says Luke Harper. It's actually not bad. No,
Oh, Mick Foley?
Mick Foley.
Oh, I
Oh
can see
my
it.
gosh.
That's a good one.
Does he not look just like Mick Foley in this
Yeah,
picture?
he does
now,
look a lot like
very
him.
much present day Mick Foley, more so than back in the day Mankind or something. But
Oh my gosh.
That's a good one.
John, that could work. And we also know that,
and Christian Bale can put on weight to play a big guy.
Yeah.
He can take weight off to be a
I think he
skinny
likes
guy.
doing that, yeah.
He can play pretty much anybody on the planet. But
I mean, if you can be
With that
Batman
beard?
and Dick Cheney.
that's right. But with that beard and the longer hair, you're telling me he doesn't look like Mick Foley?
does.
well, I agree. Brian, I fell into the same trap. Sorry
Yep.
for thinking of
No,
non-bearded
you're
Bale.
right. You're
but
right.
still, even after seeing the picture, I should have maybe seen it. I liked the pick a lot. And it also reminds me of when I played upward basketball. Every time I'd score, I'd do the bang bang from Mick Foley. I'd go bang bang, and it probably wasn't the right setting for that. But every time I'd score, that's what I would do. Now I just yell the king is back every time I do anything of significance.
Now, I could have cast myself as Mick Foley, obviously, which you also did a bang bang in that video as well. But
I did. Excellent job, John. You're not.
I-
I'm so worried you're going to fumble this like trap in
I'm
the
going
third
to.
act.
I'm going to probably. I
Gosh,
should have put
I'm
these
so
higher.
nervous. I've never been more nervous during a lunch.
I should have put these higher.
Next up is Danny DeVito as The
I
Undertaker.
didn't realize how good you'd be at this.
I mean,
Let's move on to number 3. Anyway. One of these, I promise you, one of these next 3 is playing CM Punk. Okay, so just be prepared.
Yeah.
Because anytime there's a wrestling list,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
let's-
100%.
gotta have
CM
CM
Punk
Punk
is going to
on
be
there.
on this list.
he also just gave me a look and he's writing angrily. So this is the CM
Oh,
Punk pick,
yeah.
I think.
Jake Gyllenhaal. Would he make a good CM Punk? you
He
think?
actually would be an
Yeah,
incredible
I can
CM
kind of
Punk.
see that. Yeah.
And he wrote so angrily
Yeah,
that I
yeah,
knew
that's
this
it.
was the CM Punk pick. You're just too predictable with the CM Punk love. You knew. You knew. Yeah.
Yeah, they actually do kind of look like each other, though. I can see that with his hair slicked back.
Jake Gyllenhaal from Southpaw.
It's great. It's great.
Perfect CM Punk.
Great choice. And then Brian Pavlik says DeVito would play Paul Heyman. So it works out having your DeVito pick in there.
I feel like, yeah, I mean, he could be Paul Heyman. I mean, I feel like he has a little Paul Bearer to him, too, but not the same voice.
Would a Paul Giamatti work as a Paul Heyman if you were to
I could see
Yeah, I
that.
could see
Yeah,
that.
I
could
see that working
yeah.
too.
Just give him, Paul Giamatti.
I think Paul Giamatti would be the best
Shave
Paul
the beard
Heyman.
off, give him the ponytail.
Yeah.
Put that ECW hat on. I mean,
Basically have him, have him kind of looking like his character from Private Parts a little bit, or
Yeah.
acting like his character from Private Parts. I think it could
the
work.
way he acts in Billions. I know you haven't seen that, but so the last season of Billions got cut off by COVID. They did like 3 or 4 episodes and then had to stop.
And when he came back, he was skinny.
When he came back, he was skinny, but he had shaved his beard off too. Like he had the goatee the entire show, and he shaved his beard off, and he did have kind of a Paul Heyman. He's
kinda like
he's
he did
angry
in
all the
that-
time. He did kind of have a Paul Heyman to him.
What's the movie with Frankie Muniz where he was like blue? What's
Oh man,
wow.
Big
what's
Fat
that movie
Liar?
called?
Is that
It
what
was
it's
that.
Yeah, Big Fat Liar.
You gotta look like that, yeah.
I never thought that movie would come up today, but there it is.
Well,
But Jake Gyllenhaal, CM Punk. I mean, the way he looked with some tattoos and stuff in Southpaw.
John,
pretty close.
It is a perfect list so
I'm
far.
about-
You are
I think
going to
this is-
screw this up. It
I
pisses
think the
me
last
off.
2 I'm going to fumble. Now, my number 1 does a really good impression to where I don't want to play the video because it's copyrighted video, so I don't want to get in trouble. I'll have to let you listen to it after the fact, but you just have to trust me on it. My number 2, I don't know. I do actually think I have a side by side of my number 2, but anyway, we'll
nervous.
see.
I feel like I can guess your number 1.
feel
Not
like
not
I
not
can too.
not the actor, but who the wrestler is. I'll wait though.
I don't think you can guess who the actor is at all. All right, number 2, right?
Number 2.
I do think he gave out a clue there.
John is pitching a perfect game, and I'm so nervous he's about to give up a hit.
James McAvoy.
Oh gosh, second time he's come up on the show today.
see no evil.
Surprised the trailer hasn't run during the show. It's somehow.
Oh my gosh.
So tired of that trailer. Okay, James McAvoy. Let's think about this for a second.
Is it present? Like what year?
No, it'd be an older character. I think they're dead. Yeah, I think they're dead.
Jake the Snake?
I was going to say,
Nope.
that doesn't narrow it down at all, unfortunately, sadly. James McAvoy playing a
I don't know.
wrestler.
Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper.
Wow.
Time.
All right.
Yeah.
Some They Live love, finally.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome.
There we go.
It took a while, but he finally came around.
It took so long to get John to even acknowledge
John!
the movie.
I hate how perfect this list is. I'm so angry at how perfect this list is. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sad that you're not saying more, and it's just me gushing over the
Because
entire
you're not gonna like my number 1, but I think it's
Said that
perfect.
about your entire list. I love your list.
James McAvoy, Roddy Piper. You see it?
Yeah. And that may be the closest you get to a They Live sequel at some point.
Yeah.
Because if he knocks that out of the park, who knows?
You know, you have
Even
the
though
filming,
I know it'd be a prequel. It'd have to be a prequel or something.
Yeah, you have a filming of They Live in that biopic of him. You know,
As long as Keith David's in it, I don't mind.
Exactly.
Keith David's still playing that role, even though it's been like 40 years.
I still want to see him in the Spawn remake that's coming out soon.
Oh, forgot about Spawn.
All right, so I have a lot of honorable mentions. I'll get to before my number 1. These are ones you may not agree with. You may agree with. I don't
Do
know.
we still get to guess?
Okay, I'll just say the actor.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, this is one I think is actually a dead ringer, but I didn't include it on my list because I don't know. Channing Tatum.
Are you gonna say for John Cena?
John Cena.
John Cena.
But what about Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
Because everyone
I would rather
always
see Channing Tatum.
Tatum, I think Tatum. Oh, both of them would be good. They'd
Mark
both be fighting
Wahlberg-
for that role.
I assume Mark Wahlberg's older than Cena.
But that was like always the joke because there's even like in movies like I think in Blockers and in like Trainwreck they make that reference. But no, Channing Tatum would be good.
Somebody said we're gonna see Hemsworth on this list. No, because that would be Hulk Hogan.
Forever, it was rumored that there was a Chris Hemsworth, Hulk Hogan biopic being made, and it just has ended up in development hell.
Could not choose Ben Affleck. I could not choose Hulk Hogan. Okay.
Still, in a million years, even if this list was not inspired by that topic, you would never have Ben Affleck playing Hulk Hogan, and it makes sense for us.
Okay. These are a couple out of left field. Do you know who Rose Leslie is? Was on Game of Thrones. The redhead that was with Jon Snow on Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Actually
Lita?
married to.
Yeah, actually married
Kit
Kit
Harington.
Harington.
Lita?
Lita? Yeah.
No.
Oh, Lita is the right answer.
Lita
I
is a
think.
good answer, though. I didn't even think about that. That's not who I had.
Oh, Paige?
No. We've already had Paige.
Well, I had to do it because I have Florence Pugh on the shirt, so we had to tie it back.
Current wrestler.
Oh, the man, Becky
Becky
Lynch.
Lynch.
Yeah.
They look identical to each other.
Yeah, that works.
Jason Momoa.
Dwayne's nephew.
Roman Reigns.
Roman
Yeah.
Reigns.
I feel like we're playing a game of password or something.
This is one I actually think could be pretty good, but it's not anybody wants to see a movie about. But I just thought just of wrestling people out there. Samuel L. Jackson. You're never going to get this one.
Ron Simmons?
No. No.
I don't know. Booker T.
No.
Junkyard Dog?
No. I do have a Booker T on here, but
Virgil.
no. This is what the most random thing, but I happened to see a side by side of them. And I thought that would be a great casting.
Mr. T?
Kind of counts. I don't know right off the top of my head.
Jody
here,
says
John.
Tony Atlas.
No.
That would be good casting, though.
I don't know why. Samuel L. Jackson is Teddy Long. I think
It's a disgrace. If that pick had made the list, I would not be championing this list.
the one I actually took off the list. I actually took two off the list. Jack Black.
As Mick Foley?
No.
Jake the Snake?
I have no repeat people on here.
Okay.
No.
Jack Black playing a wrestler.
Vader?
Who would he
Jack
play?
Black would be a good cast from Mick Foley.
Vader probably wouldn't be bad, but I didn't do him.
Bray Wyatt?
No. He may actually not be a bad Bray either.
He's a perfect Foley. I mean,
He
Yeah.
is a good Foley too. But Christian Bale is just a good actor. Much better actor.
That's fair.
Jack Black as a wrestler, who would he be?
Jack Black.
Has the chat got it at all?
Pavlik
Man?
and Steven say Macho Man.
No.
No. What?
This is totally random.
Bam Bam Bigelow?
Oh,
see that man, Jack Black?
Oh, that's a what?
Completely
Bam
forgot
Bam.
about Bam Bam.
Bam Bam versatile in the ring, but one note character, and Jack Black wouldn't be able to elevate Bam Bam, and I don't like it. I like Jack Black probably more as Big Boss Man than I do Bam Bam Bigelow.
All right, the last one that I thought about including on the list, but I didn't. Tom Cruise.
The problem is hairstyles, right? Because in your head, when you hear the actor, you immediately think of hairstyles.
Yeah.
Okay, well, think of hairstyles. That's really part of why I chose this.
Jace says Wesley Snipes should have made the list as Booker T,
Wesley
which
Snipes'
I think
Booker T was one of my honorable mentions.
that's good casting.
Which wrestler would Tom Cruise play in a movie? Are they the same
Rey
stature?
Mysterio, because they're both short.
They're not the same stature?
I honestly don't know what this guy's stature is. I can't remember.
Because if you pick The
Does he have-
Undertaker here, it doesn't work.
Does he have brown hair?
Smuff says
Yeah.
Cruise is Sting.
Wouldn't be bad, but no, that's not what I chose. This is not.
Pavlik says Rick Martel.
Nope. Not a primarily in ring guy.
Oh.
Gorilla Monsoon.
Oh.
Even though he had an in-ring run. Not McMahon. McMahon? The young McMahon?
Not McMahon, but you're on
Shane
the right.
McMahon?
You're on the right track.
Bret Hart? No.
Triple H?
No.
We're just naming wrestlers. at
Chris
this point.
Jericho is what Steven says.
Talk to me, John. Eric Bischoff.
Oh, yeah, I can kind of see
Eric
that.
Bischoff.
That's how he looked in that movie with Jimmy Fox with the blonde hair.
The way he looks now.
Yeah.
Eric Bischoff. That's not bad.
Eric Bischoff running things.
Man.
Oh, Brian said Bischoff. Okay, Brian got it. I did have Wesley Snipes as Booker T. I think if you couldn't get him, somebody like a Terry Crews could be good as him. I didn't really like this one, but I saw it listed a lot of places, and I could kind of sort of see it. Hugh Jackman.
Yes.
Kyle Chandler as Eric Bischoff. That's actually not bad, too.
Yeah.
Dr. Brian is Eric Bischoff. Ooh. Hugh Jackman. Playing a wrestler. He would play...
And this is not some random small name I pulled out like some of these.
I don't have it. Steve Blackman.
I think you could do a decent Hugh Jackman
That's
Undertaker.
a deep cut.
It is. It is.
I think you could do a decent Hugh Jackman Undertaker.
No.
I think you
he's
could do.
tall
No.
enough.
No way.
I think you could do a decent Hugh
You'd have to
Jackman
put lifts
Undertaker.
on. but-
Undertaker is my
A
height.
lot of people have to put lifts on to play Undertaker.
And Hugh Jackman's like 6'2", 6'3".
Who are you gonna get to play Andre the Giant? Because there's not a lot of those out there.
Big
Yeah,
Show.
Big Show.
No,
Hey, there we go.
Yes. Okay, he's the other one. So who else?
go on
It's not gonna
record.
be Paul White.
Hugh Jackman is a better Steve Blackman.
He
anyway.
does kind of have that look to it.
Got a
Yeah.
Steve Blackman look. Anyway,
Let's see,
Jace
what else
says
do I have?
Razor Ramon.
I don't think.
I can kind of see it a little bit. I don't know.
Razor Ramon could be that guy from Into the Heights.
The last one, I didn't include this, but
John Barenthal as Razor Ramon is one I'd like to see.
I could see. Yeah, I could see that. He'd be
Yeah.
probably good at that. I didn't really like this. There's some pictures I could kind of sort of make it work when she's younger. Brie Larson.
Trish Stratus?
No.
Sonny?
That's who I thought
No.
too. So.
Stephanie McMahon?
Stephanie McMahon.
I can't see that.
With darker hair. She just doesn't have darker
Who
hair
did
a
we
lot of
watch?
times.
We saw something the other day, and I was like, oh, she kind of looks like Stephanie McMahon when she was a little bit younger. There was a movie.
no idea.
Oh, we were.
What's it,
I'll think-
Stephanie McMahon?
There's a bit where I would say Sydney Sweeney, but that's a whole nother
Same
argument.
thing. It's hard. There's a lot of people. It's hard to figure like darker hair. Like you'd have to have like really brown hair.
Steven,
So-
Michael Keaton as DDP. Sign me up for that movie. I'm all about it. Let's do it. All right, we
Jim,
haven't even-
Jim Dunaway. Yes. Okay. I gotta make sure I spell his name right. Y'all are gonna hate this one because my honorable mentions went downhill, so this is gonna go downhill.
Jace, I'm a huge Razor Ramon fan. One of my favorite wrestlers of all time. And I do think John Barenthal would just knock that roll out of the park. This is number one on Lunce's list.
Joe Manganiello.
Is Triple H?
You did say an impression, so I'm gonna guess that you're casting
Macho Man?
this as somebody who likes to break off a little Slim Jim.
And who played Flash Thompson in the original Spider-Man? Joe Manganiello. I can't say his name. He's married to Sofia Vergara.
He was.
I mean,
He was Flash in the first Spider-Man movie.
was that a Bonesaw reference too?
And so he met.
Oh yeah.
He met Bonesaw on
Forgot about
the
Bonesaw.
set with Macho Man.
Bonesaw.
He has played it up before. I don't have a picture of him, but he has played this role before in certain things, and actually has
I buy
thought
it.
about doing it. And his impression is better than anybody's impression on the planet. You could not tell me if you close your eyes that it wasn't Macho Man. It is incredible.
I wish we could play it.
I know. I don't want to
You
get
know
in trouble.
who kind of looks similar? I don't know the actor's name, but on House of the Dragon, the one that we like that has the
Christian Cole.
Oh
Just wanted to see.
no, the one
Well, I
that,
was looking at the headshot John put up, and I was thinking, he kind of looks like Christian Cole.
the one that is
I mean, yes,
that
a
has the
little bit.
sick daughter that's able to ride the dragon. He looks like Kevin Nash to me.
Hugh the Hammer.
Is that what his name?
Hugh Hammer,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Hammer?
he kind
Yeah,
of does. He
yeah.
kind of does, yeah.
Hugh the Hammer Valentine. That's what you go with. Anyway, sorry. That's awful.
Yeah, I don't know. It's he's pretty good.
By the way,
He's pretty good at it.
Christian Cole would also be a good Razor Ramon. I'm just going to throw that
Can
out.
we please?
I'm
Okay.
sorry. I'm sorry, Laurel.
It's too much.
I will not be going
The
through that
season is
movie.
done. Okay, you got to wait a whole nother 2 years to watch Christian Cole end up with whatever fate he's got. But there you go. All right. Nick says, "Who would be Miss Elizabeth?" That's a great.
You talk about the worst casting. It's Sofia Vergara to come be Miss Elizabeth with him.
Elizabeth. Oh yeah.
I kind of agree with Brian Pavlik's chat. He says if you reverse it, it's perfect.
Sure.
Meaning that
That 5 is 1, 4 is 2, and then I guess 3 stays 3.
the
Because the first few we got pretty quick.
there's only one or two that I've really hated, and Samuel L. Jackson is Teddy Long. That's one of them.
well, we talking about leaving out the honorable
And
mentions.
Jack Black is Bam Bam Bigelow.
I mean, I threw like 20 other ones out there.
I know.
mean,
I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't like that, but I really am happy with the list. If I'd known it would have been this good, I wouldn't have had such hesitancy sending it to you because I was really nervous that you were going to send back. It's very rare when you send back, I don't know, I can do that. And I was worried that this was going to be one of those, and it was not. So I'm really happy. Really, really happy. Vin Diesel as Cesaro. That would just be John going, man, when are they going to make another Fast and Furious movie the whole time he was in there?
I've never cared about Cesaro.
I'm sure there's other really good ones, really, really good ones. But, yeah, great list, John. Great way to end the week. And I think that's going to give us something to all think about over the weekend as we're driving randomly through town trying to think of future wrestler and actor pairings and who they would be. Let me just ask this question, John, because you're a giant fan and maybe you can go off the top of your head with this. So Matt Damon is a part of this movie as well. And while he's in a producer role right now, if he was to pop in as a wrestler, like almost as a funny bit to have Matt Damon pop into this movie and he's playing a wrestler, there's only one wrestler that I feel like he works as, and I'm not even sure it works in the era, but is there a wrestler that you think off the top of your head Matt Damon would work as? And obviously they can use prosthetics and stuff to like...
Now, I think if you played him right now, Matt Damon could pull off a decent Cena. But...
What about Matt Damon as a Kurt Angle?
Shave his head.
I'm trying to imagine him from Elysium, because that's the only thing I think of he had a shaved head in.
Like same... I mean, if Ben Affleck in this world is going to be playing Hulk Hogan, I think...
maybe...
Is Howard Stern going to be portrayed in this movie? Because is that who Bubba the Love Sponge weren't they that like a team? Like
no, Bubba Love Sponge is his own.
Yeah.
But he wasn't ever on
show.
Howard Stern?
He may have been on Stern at some point, but I don't know.
I thought he was.
Anyway. All right, great stuff there. It's such a good thing.
Not up on my Bubba the Love Sponge.
I don't want to end the party.
History.
It's so good. I just don't want to end things, which is why you don't have to end things at MyBookie, where you can play anything, anywhere,
for a little bit,
anytime with MyBookie, our title sponsor here at the Meltdown.
Go to mybookie.ag. I agree with Brian too. Go to mybookie.ag. Use promo code next round to bet on some baseball. Get ready for football season. Play some futures there. Go play in the casino. Play in the live casino. Use promo code next round. Get a first deposit bonus on us.
I never heard anybody playing Vince McMahon in all of this, and you would think that would be a role where you've got to have it cast there.
That's got to be so. Not only does it have to be so perfectly cast, that movie has to be so perfectly done the right way.
There's a lot of stuff to it.
There's so much that once again you have to do like a 10-part series for it almost. I don't know if we'll ever get a good portrayal of Vince McMahon in an actual Vince McMahon thing.
Such a larger than life figure already. It's going to be very tough to find somebody who could play that role so perfectly. But I feel like that's the one missing piece for your WWE cinematic universe that you've created here, is who plays Vince McMahon in those roles. And you know what? I'm going to throw this one out. Y'all may hate it. John Hamm.
Oh,
I can see it.
that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Okay, you didn't hate it. That was
Vince?
just off the cuff
Yeah.
for Vince. John Hamm as Vince. If you did it Chevy Chase style in this SNL movie where he's playing like an over-the-top sort of like, all I care about is myself and my interests, and I'm making crude, inappropriate jokes, and I'm being
No, I
very...
can see that. I can see that.
John Hamm as Vince McMahon. John doesn't like it. John doesn't like it for some reason.
You don't like John Hamm, though, I feel like.
Okay with John Hamm.
Okay, so...
I just didn't care for Mad Men.
Did Jody, like right off the top, did we hit... I think we hit brainwaves at the exact same time. But anyway, Jody, good
Sure.
stuff there. Love it. All right, that's going to do it for the Meltdown. Thank you so much for making this week such a success, and we appreciate you being here each and every day. We'll be back with you live Monday, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. Make sure you check out our retro trailer reaction of Days of Thunder. It is up there on the channel right now. No House of the Dragon to watch this weekend. I don't know what I'm going to do with it this weekend. Maybe, I don't know, spend more time with my family or something. But there we go. Go see Borderlands. I don't think I'm going to be doing
Cuckoo.
that. I'm not going to be
I
doing
should have kept
that.
his microphone muted.
No. I'm not going to be seeing Borderlands, I don't think. I will be seeing that Blake Lively movie. So that could be
It's
something
like how we're all
talking
going to
about.
see it. Oh, we're so excited. What's it called? I don't know.
I don't. It
I
ends
keep
with us.
saying This
and
Is
it's
Us,
not.
and I know that that's that TV show. But
He want to say
that's
the
what I
idea
It
of
ends
you,
with
but
us.
that was that Anne Hathaway movie.
It's going to make a ton of money this weekend. So our theater's already sold out, and who knows? Maybe I'll bump into John and Laurel right there, shoulder to shoulder. We shall see. We'll see you Monday right here on the Meltdown, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern.